reading at the dark end of the street, Black Women, Rape and Resistance, A New History of the Civil Rights Movement from Local Parks to the Rise of Black Power by McGuire. And our sessions it started June 3rd and they last until July 29th. They are from 6:30 to.
So if someone else would read points number 1 and 2, and then the question A there, who wants to start?
I will.
Who's it, Georgette?
Go on.
Is that Venita?
No. Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead, Randie.
Next one.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure. I had it on the document. I didn't see who said it. Okay. Joan Little killed jailer Clarence Alligood with his own ice pick as he raped her. Poking out of the cell of the sole female prisoner was a pair of shoeless feet and brown socks. Moving closer, Ham saw that the feet belonged to the burly 62-year-old white jailer Clarence Alligood, whose lifeless torso slumped over his thighs. Alligood was naked from the waist down. It was August 27, 1974, and Alligood had been killed with his own ice pick by the petite 20-year-old Joan Little in self-defense. During the process of raping her in her jail cell in Beaufort County, Washington, North Carolina, Little managed to escape from the Beaufort jail and remained in hiding with Ernest Pops Barnes for over a week, before surrendering in the company of her attorney, Jerry Paul, on September 7, 1974. She was charged with first-degree murder and, if found guilty, would die in the state's gas chamber. The defense team. Jerry Paul was a local attorney who worked on civil rights cases, who was known among whites and blacks as an eccentric nonconformist. The long-haired, heavy-lidded, shambling primary defense attorney knew that many white men in and around Washington still believed black women existed. As he put it, somewhere between the animal and the human. Paul reveled in bucking the small town's strict racial codes by defending African Americans and working on civil rights causes. He knew that liaisons between white men and black women, whether coerced or consensual, had a long history. Among white men, he said, they were completely accepted. Paul expected the prosecution to fall back on time-worn stereotypes to win his case, and to call up Joan Little's dysfunctional family history and her criminal record, which was long. They know they're racist, attorney Jerry Paul quipped, but in 1975, it may not be a good thing to admit you're a racist. To think that the nation comes down on you if you're that way and you won't get industry in your town. Karen Galloway, one of Little's attorneys, was the first African-American woman to graduate from Duke Law School. Question A. How important has it been to the civil rights movement to have white people like Jerry Paul supporting the cause of freedom and equality?
Thank you. Anybody? What happened to Joe?
I think it's extremely. Oh, was he there?
Yes.
He was.
Oh, maybe
yeah,
he'll come back.
For a minute. Yeah. Go ahead, Georgette.
Okay. I was going to say that I think it's extremely important to have white people, or even just the people who are in power, involved in that in a movement of change, because if you don't have them involved in it, you'll be stopped at every turn, and you have to have somebody who thinks like the group that's in power to help you strategize and maneuver and garner sympathy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else?
I'm with Georgette. I think allies are very important. The same way having men as allies for women in terms of anything dealing with, women's rights, having to constantly say that it's human rights. I think having men add to that voice is definitely powerful. It sucks that we need white allies in order to be heard sometimes, and that we need men to say the same thing we say in order for people to take it seriously. But I think it's very important.
I agree with Randie, and I'm glad you said that, because it reminded me that I wanted to, give a little ego stroke to the men that have participated with us in the hangout. I didn't really know what to expect going into that. I mean, I certainly expected that women would be attracted to a group named Feminist. And I was hoping that some men would show up, but I wasn't sure. So if they happen to catch a clip of this, I want Labib and Joel to know that I really have appreciated your presence in the book group for exactly the reasons that Randie is saying. And you know, and also I admire your strength. I mean, if you can put up with Michelle and Venita, you somebody.
Real men.
What's his name, Venita?
These are real men.
Hey, these are manly men.
You gotta believe it. They got their Hercules stuff going.
Yes, that's the kind of man I like.
Yeah, girl, yeah.
Oh man.
Venita, what would you say on the question?
Are we still on A? We're going to B now.
Go to A. Stay on A.
It's very important. First of all, although racism was very prevalent, discrimination, we already know that, all white folks didn't feel that way. We have to kind of bear that in mind also. That everybody didn't feel that way. Mm-hmm. And you have to put yourself in certain positions also. Even the citizens in that area, all of them didn't feel that way. However, you dare not go against, the majority. Yeah, he was one of those people that was brave, and you still have to be pretty brave, even being an attorney, to do what he did.
Right.
So yeah, I admire him. And, he's someone, a Caucasian person in particular, to do that. He also set the tone.
Right.
And birds of a feather flock together. So he also, by him being a Caucasian attorney, invited other like-thinking Caucasian people, to try to understand without biases what's going on. So yes, it was very important.
Right, and other black attorneys as well. I kind of sort of knew of Jerry Hall back in the early 80s. I worked for a number of legal associations that were doing political work, and so I know that he was in partnership with plenty of black folks, not just the young woman that he partnered with on this particular Joan Little case. So yeah, I agree. I think it's been important. We had white people as abolitionists. Venita, your favorite whipping boy is the NAACP, and and I certainly cannot defend much of their recent behavior, but certainly their history, there are lots of white people involved there too. So I think it's important to recognize that and keep that in mind when we're tempted to go down the I hate white people road, which it's easy to get on that road. So
well, you gotta be careful because you might be talking about your own people.
That's true.
I got
I know that's right.
Grandfather. So gotta be careful with that. No,
Absolutely.
you know, all jokes aside, though, I mean, really, I have friends, and I'm fortunate to have friends from all nationalities and all walks of life, and it's just, this is ugly people. Everybody's not ugly, but you only need two of them.
Right.
To spoil everything, you know. So you have to be objective, you know, and you have to be confident.
Right. We have to figure out how to judge people.
Right. And we have secure women like us, G and Randie and Michelle. We can do that because we're fabulous, and we have no problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Right, Randie?
Right.
All right.
Okay.